The gas station on Oakwood Avenue was quiet, the neon sign flickering in the dusk. Marcus Tate, a black Air Force captain in his crisp uniform, stood at the counter, buying a coffee after a long day at the airbase. His medals gleamed, his posture sharp. Suddenly, sirens wailed. 2 police cars screeched into the lot, lights flashing red and blue. Customers froze. Marcus turned, puzzled, as officers Greg Dalton and Paul Hensley stormed in, hands on their holsters. "Hands up, now!" Dalton barked, eyes locked on Marcus. The cashier gasped, dropping a pack of gum. "What's this about?" Marcus asked, voice steady. Dalton sneered, "That uniform's fake. You're under arrest for impersonating an officer." Marcus blinked, stunned. "I'm Captain Marcus Tate, U.S. Air Force. Check my ID." Hensley laughed, yanking Marcus's arms behind him. Cold cuffs snapped shut. Coffee spilled across the floor. "Save it," Dalton said, shoving him toward the door. Bystanders whispered, phones out, filming the scene. Marcus didn't resist, but his jaw tightened. The hot pavement burned his knees as they forced him to kneel outside. Cars slowed, drivers staring. "This is a mistake," Marcus said calmly. Dalton smirked, "Yeah, sure, Captain." The crowd grew, murmurs turning to shouts. "Let him go," a woman yelled. Marcus stayed composed, his mind racing. He had one move left. "I need my phone call," he said, voice firm. Hensley shrugged, tossing him the phone. Marcus dialed a number, his cuffs clanking. It rang once. "Colonel Harris, it's Tate. I'm detained." A deep voice replied, "Stay put. I'm coming." The officers chuckled, unaware their world was about to collapse. The gas station buzzed with tension as Marcus Tate knelt on the scorching pavement, his Air Force uniform dusty but dignified. Officers Dalton and Hensley stood over him, their smug grins fading as the crowd swelled. Phones were out, live streams capturing every second. "He's military, you idiots," a teenage girl shouted, her video already racking up views. Marcus stayed calm, his eyes scanning the faces, some angry, some scared. A man in a trucker hat yelled, "Check his ID." Dalton ignored him, barking, "Back off, all of you." But the crowd pressed closer, their voices a chorus of outrage. Marcus's cuffs dug into his wrists, but he didn't flinch. He'd faced worse overseas. "You're escalating this for no reason," he said evenly. Hensley scoffed, "Shut it, wannabe." The word stung, but Marcus focused on the horizon, where help was coming. A woman in scrubs started a chant, "Free the captain." Others joined, their phones flashing. The hashtag Justice for Tate was born, trending on X within minutes. Dalton's radio crackled, backup was en route. He smirked, thinking he'd won. But Marcus's call to Colonel Harris echoed in his mind. He pictured the colonel's steely face, a man who'd chewed out generals. The crowd's energy shifted as a distant rumble grew louder. No sirens, just the deep hum of engines. 3 black SUVs pulled into the lot, their tinted windows gleaming. The crowd parted. Dalton's smirk vanished. Hensley's hand twitched near his gun. Doors opened, and men in sharp military uniforms stepped out, badges glinting. The air thickened with anticipation. A tall figure emerged from the lead SUV, Colonel Harris, his presence commanding silence. He locked eyes with Marcus, then turned to the officers. "Who's in charge here?" he asked, voice like gravel. Colonel Isaiah Harris stood like a pillar, his silver hair catching the gas station's flickering lights. His Air Force uniform bore ribbons from 3 decades of service, each medal a story of sacrifice. The crowd hushed, phones still rolling, live stream spiking. Marcus Tate, still cuffed and kneeling, met Harris's gaze and nodded slightly, a soldier's trust. Officers Dalton and Hensley shifted uneasily, their bravado crumbling. "Which one of you is Dalton?" Harris asked, his voice low but slicing. Dalton raised a shaky hand. "Yes, sir, we suspected," Harris cut him off. "You suspected a decorated captain of fraud without checking his ID? His badge? His name?" Dalton stammered, "We got a tip." Harris stepped closer, eyes burning. "A tip doesn't justify humiliating a man who's served this country for 9 years. Hensley swallowed hard, glancing at the crowd, now chanting, "Justice for Tate." The hashtag Justice for Tate trended higher, X posts flooding with clips of Harris's arrival. A military lawyer, Captain Elena Ruiz, stepped forward, holding a folder. "Officers, you're under federal review for misconduct and racial profiling," she said, handing over papers. "Surrender your badges. Now." Dalton's face paled. "This is a mistake." Harris's stare didn't waver. The mistake was assuming a black man in uniform is a criminal. He turned to Marcus, kneeling in the dust. "Get up, Captain." Harris himself unlocked the cuffs, helping Marcus stand. The crowd erupted, cheers echoing down Oakwood Avenue. A woman waved her phone, screaming, "That's how you do it." Marcus dusted his uniform, pride intact. Harris faced the officers again. "You're done here." Internal Affairs agents appeared, escorting Dalton and Hensley away, their heads bowed. Marcus stood tall, but the real storm was just beginning. Online.by Sunrise, the gas station incident was everywhere. Clips of Marcus Tate's arrest and Colonel Harris's takedown flooded X, TikTok, and Instagram. The hashtag Justice for Tate topped global trends, with millions sharing a 30-second video of Harris saying, "The mistake was assuming a black man in uniform is a criminal." Commenters raged, "Fire those cops," and "Tate's a hero." Marcus, now home, sat on his couch, scrolling X on his phone. Notifications pinged endlessly, strangers saluting his composure, veterans sharing their own stories. A news van parked outside the gas station, reporters interviewing bystanders. "He didn't even raise his voice," the woman in scrubs told CNN. "That's strength." TikTok stitched the clip with reactions, some tearful, others furious. A local influencer posted, "Oakwood's burning with this one. Justice for Tate." Marcus's phone buzzed, his sister, Keisha, texting a meme of Harris staring down Dalton. "You're famous, bro," she wrote. He chuckled, but his eyes stayed serious. The mayor's office announced a press conference at noon. Marcus watched live as Mayor Linda Carter stepped to the podium. "What happened to Captain Tate was unacceptable," she said, cameras flashing. "Officers Dalton and Hensley are terminated, effective immediately." The crowd outside City Hall cheered, waving Justice for Tate signs. X erupted with "finally" and clapping emojis. But Marcus knew this wasn't just about him, it was about every black soldier, every uniform disrespected. His phone rang, Colonel Harris. "You good, Tate?" he asked. "Yes, sir," Marcus replied. "Good. They want you at the police academy. To speak." Marcus paused, the weight sinking in. He wasn't just a captain now, he was a symbol. Outside, the sun rose higher, and the world kept watching, waiting for his next move. Marcus Tate stood on his porch, coffee in hand, watching the news van circle his quiet street. X was still buzzing with Justice for Tate, now paired with #honor in uniform. A viral TikTok showed a kid saluting Marcus's photo, captioned, "Real heroes wear wings." His phone hadn't stopped, friends, cousins, even his old drill sergeant texting support. But Colonel Harris's call lingered in his mind, the police academy wanted him to speak. Marcus wasn't a public speaker, but he felt the pull. This was bigger than him. By noon, he drove to the airbase, his uniform pressed, medals gleaming. Colonel Harris met him at the gate. "You don't have to do this, Tate," he said, eyes steady. But those recruits need to hear you. Marcus nodded. I'm ready, sir. The academy was a short drive, its brick building looming under gray clouds. Inside, rows of young recruits sat rigid, their faces a mix of nerves and curiosity. The academy chief, Captain Waller, shook Marcus's hand. Your story's already changing things, she whispered. Marcus stepped to the podium, heart pounding. The room went silent. I'm Captain Marcus Tate, he began, voice clear. 2 days ago, I was cuffed for wearing this uniform. For being black. Gasps rippled. Power doesn't make you right. Listening does. Respect does. He shared his story, 9 years serving, missions overseas, and the sting of those cuffs. Ask questions before you judge, he urged. See the person, not the skin. A recruit raised her hand. How'd you stay so calm? Marcus smiled faintly. Training. And faith I'd be heard. The room erupted in applause. Outside, phones captured his exit, clips spreading fast. #TateSpeaks trended by dusk, and Marcus drove home, feeling lighter but far from done. Marcus Tate's Academy speech hit the internet like a spark. By evening, #TateSpeaks was trending alongside #JusticeForTate, with X posts dissecting his words, ask before you judge. A viral TikTok looped his line, see the person, not the skin, overlaid with salutes from veterans nationwide. News outlets replayed his speech, pundits debating its impact. Captain Tate's grace is a lesson, one anchor said. Marcus, back home, watched the frenzy on his phone, a bowl of chili untouched. Texts flooded in, classmates, pastors, even a senator's aide inviting him to a rally. He muted notifications, needing quiet. Outside, a neighbor hung a #HonorInUniform sign. The gas station became a pilgrimage site, flowers and notes left where Marcus knelt. A teenager's X-post read, drove by Oakwood. Felt like history. The mayor called again, offering Marcus a key to the city. He politely declined, uninterested in fanfare. But the police department felt the heat. Protests erupted outside headquarters, demanding bias training. Chief Waller announced reforms, citing Marcus's speech. We're listening, she said on live TV. Ex-users amplified it, some skeptical, others hopeful. Marcus's sister, Keisha, FaceTimed him. You're changing the game, Mark, she said, grinning. He shrugged. Just told the truth. But the truth was spreading. A military blog shared Marcus's service record, deployments, commendations, cementing his heroism. A GoFundMe for his legal fees hit $50,000. Marcus donated it to a veterans charity, earning more headlines. By night, he sat on his porch, stars bright above. His phone buzzed, Colonel Harris. You've started something, Tate, he said. Finish it strong. Marcus nodded, though Harris couldn't see. Tomorrow, a national talk show wanted him. He wasn't sure, but the world was watching, and his voice was only growing louder. Morning broke with Marcus Tate's face on every news channel. CNN called him the captain who stood tall, Fox dubbed him a symbol of honor. X was ablaze with #TateSpeaks, memes of Marcus's calm stare captioned Unbothered King. A TikTok challenge had users saluting to his speech's audio, racking up millions of views. Marcus, sipping coffee in his kitchen, felt the weight of it all. His phone pinged, a producer from the Morning Pulse, a national talk show, begging for an interview. Your story's uniting people, she said. Marcus hesitated but agreed. By noon, he was in a studio, lights hot, cameras rolling. Host Lauren Bell leaned in. Captain Tate, how'd you stay composed in those cuffs? Marcus, in his uniform, spoke evenly. Training taught me control. Faith taught me hope. The audience cheered, tweets pouring in live. Why speak at the academy? Bell asked. To prevent this happening again, Marcus said. Respect starts with listening. Clips of his answers went viral before the show ended, #ListenLikeTate trending. Backstage, Bell hugged him. You're changing minds. Marcus nodded, unsure. That evening, X posts showed protests nationwide, signs reading, "Ask before you act." A viral video caught a cop shaking a black veteran's hand, captioned, "Inspired by Tate." Marcus's inbox overflowed, schools, churches, even the Pentagon requesting talks. His sister, Keisha, called, laughing. "You're a movement, Mark." He smiled, but doubt lingered. Could words really shift systems? At home, he found a letter from a recruit at the academy. "Your speech made me rethink everything. Thank you." Marcus exhaled, feeling purpose. Outside, a news van lingered, but he closed the blinds. Tomorrow, a veterans gala invited him as keynote. His voice was needed, and he wasn't backing down. The veterans gala was held in a grand downtown hall, chandeliers casting golden light. Marcus Tate arrived in his Air Force uniform, medals polished, heart steady but heavy. #TateSpeak still trended, X posts buzzing with gala live streams. Veterans, politicians, and activists filled the room, all eyes on Marcus as he was announced as keynote speaker. He stepped to the podium, greeted by a standing ovation. "I'm no hero," he began, voice firm. "I'm a soldier who faced a wrong and spoke up." He recounted the gas station, the cuffs, the crowd's chants. "This uniform means service, not suspicion," he said. "We need trust, not bias." The room hung on every word, phones capturing the speech. A TikTok clip of Marcus saying, "Trust starts with us," went viral mid-event, racking up 2 million views. A general nodded, a senator tweeted praise. #TrustLikeTate emerged, sparking X debates on reform. Marcus paused, spotting a young black recruit in the crowd, eyes wide with pride. "For you," he continued, "I say, demand respect, but give it too." Thunderous applause erupted. Offstage, Colonel Harris clasped his shoulder. "You're rewriting the narrative, Tate." A veteran in a wheelchair handed Marcus a folded flag. "From my unit," he whispered. "You're our voice." Marcus's throat tightened. Back home, he watched the gala clips dominate X, comments flooding, "Tate for president." Keisha texted, "Told you, bro, legend." But Marcus saw the bigger picture. Protests grew, police departments announced training inspired by his words. A viral X post showed a mural of Marcus on Oakwood Avenue, captioned, "Captain Courage." He sat on his porch, flag in hand, stars above. Tomorrow, a White House aide called about a meeting. His fight was far from over, but it was resonating. Marcus Tate woke to a phone call that changed everything. A White House aide, voice crisp, invited him to a roundtable on police reform. "Your story sparked a movement, Captain," she said. X was still electric with #TrustLikeTate, clips of his gala speech shared by celebrities and activists. A TikTok of the Oakwood mural, now tagged #CaptainCourage, hit 5 million views. Marcus sat at his kitchen table, stunned. Keisha burst in, grinning. "The White House, Mark? You're unstoppable." He shook his head. "It's not about me. It's about change." By afternoon, news outlets reported his invitation, X posts speculating, Tate advising the president. Marcus packed for D.C., his uniform pressed, mind racing. At the airport, strangers saluted, one whispering, "Thank you, Captain." On the plane, he scrolled X, seeing #Justice for Tate evolve into #ReformNow. A viral video showed recruits reciting his academy words, "Respect starts with listening." Landing in D.C., Marcus was whisked to a sleek conference room. Senators, police chiefs, and activists awaited. The president entered, shaking his hand. "Captain Tate, you've given us a wake-up call, she said. Marcus spoke plainly. Profiling breaks trust. Train officers to ask, not assume. Nods rippled, a chief pledged new protocols. The hashtag #ReformWithTate trended mid-meeting, ex-users praising his clarity. A senator proposed a Tate task force for bias training. Marcus left, humbled but focused. Back home, he watched the roundtable dominate news, his face on every screen. A letter arrived from the gas station cashier, "You made us proud." Keisha called, teasing, "Next stop, Nobel Prize?" Marcus laughed, but his eyes were on tomorrow. Protests were planned, and he'd join. His voice had power, and he'd use it to build a better system. Marcus Tate stood at the Oakwood Avenue gas station, now a symbol of change. A year after his arrest, the lot was packed with supporters, #ReformWithTate banners waving. X buzzed with live streams, the hashtag topping charts. A new mural of Marcus, saluting, glowed under the sun, captioned, "Captain Courage Lives." TikTok videos looped his White House speech, inspiring millions. Marcus, in his Air Force uniform, addressed the crowd. "This isn't my victory, it's ours," he said. "We demanded respect and got it." Cheers erupted, phones flashing. The mayor unveiled a plaque, "Tate Square, honoring justice." News crews broadcast live, X posts flooding with pride. Marcus's reforms were real. New police training rolled out nationwide, inspired by his words, "Ask, don't assume." A viral X video showed officers and black veterans shaking hands, tagged #TrustLikeTate. Keisha, in the crowd, hugged him tight. "You did this, Mark." He smiled, but his focus was forward. The Tate task force was launching, with Marcus advising. Schools taught his story, recruits memorized his speech. A young girl in the crowd saluted, her dad whispering, "That's Captain Tate." Marcus knelt, returning the salute. "Keep shining," he told her. That night, he sat on his porch, stars bright. His phone pinged, "Colonel Harris. You've built a legacy, Tate." Proud. Marcus exhaled, a folded flag from the gala beside him. X notifications glowed, a senator credited him with reform laws passing. A final TikTok went viral, a montage of Marcus's journey, from cuffs to Capitol Hill, captioned, "One call changed everything." He didn't want fame, but he'd earned respect. The fight wasn't over, but Marcus knew his voice had reshaped history. He sipped coffee, ready for tomorrow, a soldier still serving.